Hocam. Şimdi 5 kişi varız ya. 6 olacağız. Bak kimse dedi ki alınmaz gücenmez sen konuşma dedi. Biri bir iyilik yap bize ya. Vallahi bak merhametini. Çocuk 5 kişi yani boynu büküldü kaldı yani. Afrikalılar. Connection işi yaşıyorlarmış.
Bence hikaye olur o.
Ya minimum 5 kişi olması lazım diyorlardı.
Recording in progress.
So if we cannot we are all like I said. If there's no guarantee for the next day,
Stop. I'm coming, okay? Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, sorry for the hitches. We had some connection issues, but now it's all solved. So we are coming to start right away. Okay. Good morning once again. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, so please, we are starting, and today our topic is climate, conflict, and cooperation. And this is what we are going to do today. We are going to explore how climate pressures contribute to conflict and how intercultural cooperation, especially through youth engagement like the Youth Eco-Resilience Program, can build resilience, reduce tensions, and promote peaceful, sustainable communities. So,
Okay.
hello.
Yes, please.
Okay. The objective for
Yes, please, we
today,
can hear.
okay, as our topic is climate, conflict, and cooperation. This is what we are looking at today. So for climate, this discussion today will make us understand how climate change intensify environmental stressors such as water scarcity, food insecurity, and livelihood disruptions. Then for conflict, we are going to look at how climate-induced pressures escalate tensions among communities and contribute to social, economic, and intercultural conflict within and between communities. Then for cooperation, we are going to explore how intercultural dialogue, such as the Youth Eco-Resilience Program, will help to share learning and collaborative problem solving can transform climate-related tensions into opportunities for peace, resilience, and sustainable community development. So when we say climate, conflict, and cooperation, what is it? Climate issues can divide or unite us, or is based on how we as humans go about it. So now, with this first image, it's a story about a boy in Italy who had to flee his community due to a cyclone that hit the community. With image 2 here, it is about a youth group volunteers in northern Ghana who decided to plant 10,000 trees every month. Then with the second image here, which is climate change, it's about two communities who agree to struggle over fight over a land due to climate issues in their respective communities. So it's a clash between two communities who were struggling to settle on one particular land due to the fact that they were both suffering from climate outcome from their respective communities. Then with the last image here represents young people from Italy, Ghana, Greece, Malawi, and Kenya who came together online to collaborate on ways and means to solve climate issues. So all these images here, they represent various climate issues. Some has to do with drought, some has to do with tree planting, some has to do with forced migration, and some has to do with collaboration. Now, all these stories tell about young people in different parts of the world who do not even know themselves, but they have connected issues, which is climate change. Now, when we talk of climate, what is it? Here we are going to explore understanding climate stress and pressures. Now, climate stress and pressures are the environmental, social, and economic strain caused by changes in weather patterns and long-term shifts in climate conditions that test the resilience of natural and human systems beyond their capacity to cope and maintain stability. So when we talk of climate stress and pressures, it's not only about the environment. Actually, climate issues are human issues too, because it is our collective habits, our collective activities in daily life. It is our collective doing, how we go about living the life that contribute to climate change, be it in good condition or bad condition. So when we talk of the stress and pressures of climate, there are three major of them. One, which is scarcity. Now, when climate stress or pressures happened, we face scarcity. Scarcity in terms of food, scarcity in terms of land, scarcity in terms of water. When drought happened, our water bodies dried up. When cyclone or flood happens, it destroys our land properties, that there is scarcity of land. When climate happens, there are issue of water. People don't get water to drink. Our lands are destroyed. Our agricultural produces are destroyed, and that causes food insecurity. So the first point for the three major pressures is scarcity. Then the second point is forced migration. When climate happens, for instance, and people don't have, their places are destroyed, people are forced to move from where they live to a different place to find a new settlement. So the second pressure is forced migration. The first one is scarcity, which I explained that it looks at food scarcity, land scarcity, and water scarcity. Then the second one is forced migration. Then the third one is livelihood shocks. This happened after the outcome of climate. Now, when our agricultural produces are destroyed, when our lands, our water, there is no food to eat, we now adopt to a new way of living. Now, starting all over becomes difficult. Starting to go about the work that feeds you becomes difficult. What used to earn you income becomes difficult. So this brings shocks to our livelihoods. So let me go over this again. The stress and pressures of climate. The three major of them are scarcity, which has water, land, and food. Then forced migration. People are forced to go to a different community, different country, different region to live. Then livelihood shocks. When we can no longer cope with the outcome of the climate, there are change of livelihood, and that brings a lot of shocks to the people affected. So now, before we continue, we are going to do this quick activity. And please, we can type it in the comment section. How has your community been impacted by climate issues? Be it good or bad, how have you been ever impacted by climate issues in your community? So please, let's just use 3 minutes to type the answers quick in the comment section. Then we continue.
Mama.
Box.
Mama. Mama. Mama.
Okay, a minute more. Please share your responses in the chat box. Okay, we are continuing. Okay, so we've looked at how climate pressures and stress affect us. Now, we are going to look at how climate brings about conflict. And climate change itself does not directly cause conflict. As in climate, when conflict happens, not directly that it was caused by climate change, but rather is the outcome of climate that fuels conflict among a given location. And these are caused through certain factors. Okay, someone has his hands raised.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Could you please share the pretest in the chat box so people can fill it out?
Oh, it's been shared.
But the newcomers don't see it. You have to keep sharing.
Okay,
Otherwise,
sure.
you will get, you know, you know, less results.
Okay, okay. Okay, sure. It will be shared again. Okay, so like I was explaining, we looked at how climate stress and pressures affect us. Now we are looking at how climate fuels conflicts. And when we talk of conflict, climate do not directly cause conflict, but rather is the outcome of climate that fuels conflict. And then there are pathways to climate tension that leads to the conflict. And one is resource scarcity. I explained earlier that when climate happened, there are loss of resources like food, land, water, and etc. So when there is resource scarcity and there are some, let's say people are supposed to move from where they are, a particular community is moving to this location, another community is moving to that same location, then there is another community too which is moving to that same location. They are going to fight over that land which cannot contain all of them. So this, for instance, brings about conflicts among the people. Then political and social strains. After the outcome of climate, there becomes tension on the government to provide for the people. And in issues like this, when the government cannot provide or the available resources after the outcome of the climate cannot satisfy the need of all the people, it becomes very strenuous on the governments. And that also affects the social strains of the people. Then migration and displacement. This also leads to tension that leads to conflict as an outcome of climate. When climate hits, people are forced to move out. People who do not get a settlement become displaced. Then the last one is livelihood and sustainable disruption. Now, when we talk of sustainability, is to ensure that the present needs of the people are met, whereas the future needs of the future generation are not harmed in any way. But in this sense that climate has happened, that the needs of the present people are being affected, it is definitely going to harm the future needs of the future generation. So in this term, sustainability is disrupted. We cannot provide for the present need of the people. let alone for the future needs of the people. And when this happens, their livelihood too is affected. So this pathways leads to conflict in climate. That is resource scarcity, political and social strains, migration and displacement, then livelihood and sustainable disruptions. Then when we look at cases around the world as how climate conflict has come about, we have the Syrian drought. And the Syrian drought is one of the worst droughts ever in history. Then we have the Sudan drought conflict. The conflict that came about in Sudan due to a severe drought that they faced. Then the Somali livelihood depletion. We have the Sahel region temperature rising, the Pakistani-Afghan border exploit due to climate outcome. People at the border were exploiting the people that have been affected. Then the farmer-herder conflict in West Africa. We have the drought-driven migration in East Africa. Then Europe rising pressures from migration waves. Okay, so our next activity is going to be on these two questions. Who are mostly affected in climate-driven conflict? Then the second one is, how does climate conflict affect sustainability? Please, we are to also reply through the comment section.
Mama, mama, mama. Sasha, Ada, mama.
Please share your answer in the chat box.
Mama, mama. Ada.
We are on the second activity. We are using just 3 minutes to answer that. Okay, so we are continuing. So we have looked at climate, we have looked at conflict, how conflicts come about as an outcome of climate. Then we are looking at the third part of the topic, which is cooperation. Now, when we talk of climate cooperation, what is it? Climate cooperation. So, Cooperation is climate cooperation is when like group of people collaborate to address climate issues, whether at the local, regional, or the international level. So the pathway to cooperation, we have three, and one is the local level cooperation. So local level cooperation, let me say in your community, there is an issue of water scarcity. Then within the community, you people agree that you are going to share a particular water, a water that used to serve, let's say, just two community. Now you say, because this community is lacking water, they can join us in sharing. So that is cooperation. You are cooperating with the community to share the water. Then another example of the local level cooperation can be intercommunal labor for farmers. Let's say after drought or after flood, your agricultural produces were destroyed. Then you decide that, okay, let's all come together. Today we are going to weed in this, we are going to clear the lands of this particular community. Then next week, we are also going to this community. Next week, we are going to this community. So as a community, you come together to help yourself to start with your agricultural activities. We can also look at joint grazing schedules. Let's say you have farming equipment, all of the farmers used to have, but after the flood, let's say majority of the equipment were destroyed. It was left with only few. Then you decide to share among yourself that you are going to help with the other farmers to use your equipment to facilitate their farming activities. So these are examples of the local level cooperation, where within the communities, you come together to help yourself after climate crisis has hit you people. Then we have the national level cooperation. The national level is where government work with civil society, youth organizations, NGOs, or cooperative to solve climate issues. So for instance, the government of Ghana initiated the Planting for Food projects. So this is an example of national level cooperation. And there was also the Green Belt project, where government of Ghana were providing seedlings for group youth organization to plant across the country. So this is also another example of national level cooperation. Then we have the international and the regional cooperation. With this, we can look at the AU climate resolutions. We can look at the ECOWAS climate migration framework. We can look at the UN climate agreement. We even have the conference of parties. We have the COP. We have each year and the venue or location where it is happening. These are examples of international or regional cooperation. And of course, this very program falls under international or regional cooperation because young people across diverse countries come together to champion this projects where youth will be empowered in climate education on how to go about climate issues in their respective countries and communities. So the YER project also falls under, that's the Youth Eco-Resilience Project, also falls under international or regional cooperation. So when we talk of climate cooperation, let's not forget we have three pathways, and which is the local level. People within their community comes together to solve problems that regards to climate issues. Then we have the national level cooperation that look at where governments initiate or there are project climate intervention projects at the national level. Then we have the international or regional cooperation, And I gave examples like the AU cooperation, the ECOWAS cooperation, ECOWAS climate framework. We have the conference of parties. We have this very project that is also international and cooperation, international or regional cooperation for climate. Then, when it comes to the key aspect of cooperation, we've mentioned the pathway to climate cooperation, but then there are certain key aspects of climate cooperation which are very, very important in achieving global cooperation for climate. And the one is financial support. Of course, we cannot talk about a lot of funds for climate or green activities across the world. So to do, countries will fund projects or initiatives from developing countries that see to solving climate issues. Then we have the incentivizing of action. So there are so many climate projects around. Some, they only need funds to carry out. So this, when we give incentive to actions that seek to solving climate issues, it encourages participation among people with bolder climate ideas to also come on board so that they get funds to carry out their projects to solve the climate issue. Because I mentioned earlier that climate issue is not only environmental issues, it is human issues as well. When the environment is affected, we humans too is affected. Because even though migration cause pressure on the environment, it's people who are affected. When drought happen, it's people who are affected. When our agricultural produces are destroyed, it's people that are affected. So we must take note of this. Then sharing. I mean, when you know something about climate, or when you have lived experiences in climate, it is very important that we share them among ourselves so that people are aware, people know which steps to take, people know how to also go about their similar issues of climate. Now, the last one is inclusive and collaborative education. An example is what we are doing now, because all the knowledge we are sharing is education, and it's also collaboration among many young people who has come together to share knowledge on climate resilience. So these are the key aspects of climate cooperation. And to continue, we have the practical tools for climate cooperation. Yes, we have cooperated, we have agreed to come together to share knowledge on climate. But then, how do we go about it? This is where the 3C model for peace building and climate action comes in. And the very first one is communication. Communication is very, very, very important. It is not only for you to talk. It is also for you to listen actively, attentively, and fully when others are sharing their knowledge or expertise or lived experiences. Then when you are also sharing, share clearly and concisely. It is true that climate issues come with certain scientific terms, but then it is very important that we break them down so that even the layman person understands what is being communicated. So communication is not just any communication, but then when we are communicating, it must be effectively. And when we are talking of effective communication, it goes two ways, both listening and then talking concisely, all count to all count to effective communication. Then we have collaboration. And again, example is what we are doing. we have to work with others in your community, that's the local level, others in other parts of your country, that's the national level, then others with coming from different parts of the world, that is the international level. So collaboration is also very, very important to thrive at climate cooperation. We have to cooperate with people. For instance, this very project, you make sure that you collaborate with someone you don't even know, whether from your own community or from a different country. Then we collaborate them beyond this project. We come with our own project based on what we have learned to come with climate initiative that is going to solve climate issues. Then co-creation. It is very important to design local climate resilient projects, share across borders for reenactment or readjustment. So yes, as you have collaborated with other climate leaders from your communities or different countries, it is now very important that you design climate resilient projects that suits your community, because as climate issues are global, solution to them might not be the same. This is given to the fact that we have different geographical locations. So what will work for you might not work for this person in this different country. So as you have designed the climate resilient projects, you share them across borders so that people will reenact them, as in they will do the same thing or readjust them. They will see where they have to change your solution to suit their own situation. So these are the practical tools for climate communication. Then from there, we come back to summarize the whole topic, which is climate, conflict, and cooperation. Anytime you hear climate, conflict, and cooperation, there is a certain link that you must always remember. Climate stress leads to resource pressure, and resource pressure leads to potential conflicts. And like I mentioned, climate does not directly cause conflict, but then the outcome of climate is what causes conflict. So when it comes to conflict, it worsens vulnerability, and when people become vulnerable, that is when there becomes the need for cooperation, and that is where climate cooperation comes in. So cooperation, we share solutions, and this solution helps to reduce conflicts, because some of the solution might not. Hello, is someone?
What is doing? Yes,
talking. Solution, sorry. The solution might not completely. Please mute your mic.
Please continue.
Okay. The solution might not completely prevent the climate issue. So this solution could reduce them, then increase climate resilience. So when we hear climate, conflict, and cooperation, this is the link that we should remember. When climate happens, its outcome brings about the conflict. Then when the conflict comes, there becomes a need for cooperation. And this cooperation, the solutions we share, the knowledge, the experiences we share, helps to reduce the conflict, if not prevent it at all. Okay, so now we move to the next one, which is the role of youth. Because young people are mostly affected. We are at the center of climate impacts. When it comes to climate issues, young people, we are mostly affected. So why is it necessary for us to be at the forefront of solving climate issue. This is because, like I mentioned, we are the center of it. Then when it comes to innovation, young people drives innovation. And then we have the ability to mediate, innovate, educate, mobilize resources, share ideas, come out with innovative strategies to solve global issues. It is very important as we young people to be at the forefront because we are the victim. And after the climate crisis has hit us, we have to become the actors to solve the climate issues. And this is where this very project comes in. So why does this very project, the Youth Eco Resilience Project, matters a lot? Because at the end of it, we will be climate literate, we will know the advocacy tools to use, we will master the art of digital storytelling, how we sit in our own community to share knowledge across the world so that other young people will learn from it. And also resilience crisis has hit. After it, we have to be resilient to solve the issue. Then conflict-sensitive dialogue, because when conflicts happened, and you don't go about it well to solve the issue, it rather escalates the conflicts. Then cross-border collaboration. It is very important that at the end of this very project, you collaborate with other participants from the other countries to come out with climate projects that is going to solve climate issue at the very long term. Then intercultural climate communication and dialogue. And then again, we are all coming from diverse background, our race, our culture, our geographical location. So when as we are learning from each other, it's equipped to talk across borders, how to talk at the global level so that your message will be clearly understood, irrespective of where the person is coming from or what the culture of the person is or what the race of the person is. So now we come to the call to action. This is because climate crisis is global, but then the solution starts with every individual. I mean, every one of us here, once you are here, that means you've been called to action to henceforth come up with projects that is going to help the environment, not only the environment, because sustainability looks at our environmental issues, our economical issues, and even our social issues. So beyond this project, let us come up with project that is going to solve climate issues for the very long term, not just like a short-term solution, but a long-term solution that is going to help us live sustainably, save our environment, and even save ourselves as humans. So this is a call to action to all of us here. Do not just make this very project as one of the boxes you take as projects you have or training you've been in. This is you being empowered. This is you being equipped with climate education, climate knowledge, so that you're going to replicate the knowledge into action in your various communities. And like I mentioned, it is very, very, very important that you collaborate with other participants from the other countries and you co-create solution, you design solution, you come up with ideas that is going to help you irrespective of where you find yourself. And to end this discussion, I come up with the disclaimer that even though this is funded by the European Union, the views and opinions, everything expressed here are solely my opinion based on my expertise as a sustainability expert. So yes, it does not reflect the words or research by the European Union. So we have come to the end of the discussion for today. And if there are any questions, anything, the floor is open for us to ask. And by this point, I'm coming to stop sharing the screen. Then we continue with the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So any question? Do we have any question? Is anyone having any question to ask or any clarification or anything at all? If you can't ask, you can ask the question in the chat box. That's fine. Hello, we are still waiting for questions. Well understood presentation. Okay. So is there any clarification for anyone else?
Daddy, Mama, Mama, Mama. See, Daddy.
Hello, have you shared the post test? Abu Karim. Hello.
Hello.
Have you shared the post test, post training test?
Okay, so I'm sharing it right now on the WhatsApp group.
Yeah, people.
Okay.
Yeah, you can just put it here in the dialog box because people are here. They can
Okay.
fill it out. I mean, just to help you. You know
Okay.
the best, but just to give you an idea,
Okay.
to make it easier for you. Just a contribution.
Okay, the post survey is now shared. So please, you can start filling them. Okay, please make sure you fill the post survey form. It's very important, please. Okay. So I hope by now we have all filled the form, and thank you for participating. Thank you for being here. And the project continues. And as usual, each day comes with a different topic. And today we look at climate, conflict, and cooperation. We exploring how climate affect us and how conflict happen as outcome of climate and how we can collaborate, that's cooperation, to solve our climate issues. So we have come to the end of today's session, and make sure tomorrow's session you come attend, make note, because like I mentioned, attending these projects is not just for attending sake, but it is for you to gain insight on climate resilience so that you can start championing climate projects in your community, in your country, or in the world. Thank you so much. Until we meet again, have a good day, have a good afternoon, have a good evening. Bye to everyone.
Bye.